Hey, what's up, everybody? Luke here, Mobility RX, Clearwater, Florida. I'm just want to talk to you guys a little bit about hip mobility today. I got a lady that I'm seeing. She was asking me a couple days ago, asking me about like how I can determine from an overhead squat whether or not she's functioning correctly or not. One of the things I told her, I said, there's a sequence of events that takes place when we're little, and when we're little, from a baby standpoint, your development, you put down on the crib, for instance, then the patterns from there just start. I don't have a video camera. I got 3 little girls at home. I don't have a video camera and hold it up to them and show them how to walk. They immediately learn how to walk. And so what happens from the sequence of just an overhead squat profile, I can determine whether or not muscle firing patterns are correct or not. Some folks will go after it and say you need 3-dimensional, you need a lot more eyes than somebody. I just do a typical overhead squat and I watch your gait. And based around the musculature, you should be able to pick up whether or not somebody can move or not. I know that it's debatable, and I'm sure people couldn't chime in, and I would like to know your feedback on it. But the debate is this: like, if you can't do a standard squat, what would be from the nature perspective, then there's a dysfunction there, and there's dysfunction that can continue to grow into something that might be debilitating later on. And so what I look at is like when you put down in a crib, the first thing you start to do is you start getting ipsilateral movements, one leg at a time, and then contralateral movement across your body, contralateral movements, and then from there you start building up rotary stability, because now I'm moving back and forth. If I get rotary stability in there, now I can create some rotation work. I create the rotation, now I prop up into that cobra position that people talk about, and from there, that cobra position, now I'm looking at the world for the first time, and then from there I'm scooting up, getting my knees up underneath me, and then from that point, now I'm learning how to crawl, and then the next thing I'm knowing from there is ipsilateral movements, of course, come back into play, contralateral movements, still doing rotary stability and rotation work, and then from there, now I'm starting to look from a squatted point. From that squat point, now it's like, oh, I'm in a squatted position, I get a little scoot, and then I'm standing up and back down. So I'm born with mobility, I'm not born with stability, so I have to build the stability up. And then from there, I'm squatting and back up, and now I'm standing and I'm walking. Like I said, there's no video out there that will show that. And sometimes the intellect will intercept and make it a lot harder than it seems to be, but the nature of us is pretty simple. And so when I watch and look at somebody's mobility or whether they can squat or not, and you start to see, well, if you look at from behind me here and you look up at the skeletal system, if I've got the skeleton system here and I hold up and I start shaking it and it starts shaking back and forth, and there is, some stiffening effects from there, there's a problem. But because it's not from here, it comes out from the musculature, I start to build stability and I shake that skeleton. And now if I have too much stability in certain areas, that's where the dysfunction starts to occur. So if I've got dysfunction, well, now I'm going to have more dysfunction in everything I do in my life. So we got to look at those things. And so basically what I was telling her was that, yeah, of course, if I can't get into a squat that would be our natured squat, or that we see a lot of populations doing now, and we're in the West. If you go over to the eastern side of the population, a lot of people will squat down, rock bottom squat, and that's the importance behind it. I think sometimes we look at it and saying, oh, can I squat from doing 600 pounds in that position, or back squat, or whatever. It's like, I even was taught growing up, the only thing you could do is go to 90 degrees, because in our education system, the way they say, well, if you go beyond 90 degrees, you're going to hurt your knees. When you look at it, it's like, well, if the knee's not gapping properly, there's going to be some knee problems. It's like, no, the gapping is going to stop at 90 degrees. If I don't get full range of motion, that's where I start to get knee problems. So that's where I think in the fitness industry is starting to take on, and they're starting to see that, oh, I got to go rock bottom into the squat. But it all pertains to, again, where would be, if we were dropped off in the woods and you say, let the person roam, that's basically what takes place. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention today, talk to you a little bit about what's going on from how I work with folks and how I see getting people better. That's how I get people better. I just go back from the primitive time and when they were starting to walk and look at how they're walking now currently, and if they're not walking properly and not squatting properly, then I can then determine what muscles are stiff And then again, like I said, I always bring in the skeleton system because that's the big basis behind it. If it's not rattling and rolling, then there's a problem, there's an issue. So think about that for a little bit, and then if you're not already a fan of some of the stuff that I'm doing, go ahead and hit me up on the Facebook, like me on Facebook, like me on my YouTube, and then it's mobilityrxfitness.com, and I'll talk to you guys soon.